Bonjour à tous and welcome to another lesson on French negatives. In this video we'll be looking at some negative expressions. So this one's going to be slightly different. These aren't particularly grammatical, we're just learning some expressions using the negative words that we've already learnt. Starting with one that you're probably already familiar with, and that is de rien, which means no problem or you're welcome. So take this for example, merci pour le sandwich, thank you for the sandwich. You could respond, de rien, you're welcome, no problem. That one should be fairly simple, and I imagine you know that one already. Next we have en un rien de temps. En un rien de temps means in no time or in no time at all. So for example, tu l'apprendras en un rien de temps. You will learn it in no time. And ils ont retrouvé le chemin en un rien de temps. They found their way in no time. So it's used much in the same way as in no time in English, en un rien de temps. Then we have pas du tout, which I think is by far the most useful one in this list, and that means not at all. So for example, je ne l'aime pas du tout is I don't like it at all, and il ne comprend pas du tout, he doesn't understand it at all. Now with this one, the du tout part of the expression tends to go at the end, so sometimes the pas and the du tout will be split, as in ce n'est pas cher du tout, it's not expensive at all. Now you could say ce n'est pas du tout cher, keeping the pas du tout together, and that means it's not at all expensive. But I think in both English and French, the first one is more common. Certainly I'm more likely to say it's not expensive at all than it's not at all expensive. But both are grammatically correct, and it wouldn't be wrong to use either of them. Next we have pas encore or pas encore. You can choose whether to pronounce that S or not, and this means not yet. So for example, on n'a pas encore fini, we haven't finished yet, or il n'est pas encore arrivé, he hasn't arrived yet. Or indeed, tu y es, are you here? Pas encore, not yet. You can use it on its own quite happily. Then we have toujours pas, which is very similar but not quite the same. Before we had il n'est pas encore arrivé, that's he hasn't arrived yet. If we said il n'est toujours pas arrivé, that means he still hasn't arrived. So with toujours pas, there's more an element of frustration, right? So il n'est pas encore arrivé is a simple statement of the fact that he hasn't arrived yet. But il n'est toujours pas arrivé suggests that he's late, and I'm not happy about it, right? You could also say tu ne t'es toujours pas excusé, you still haven't apologized. Again, implying that I've been waiting and you still haven't done it. So the two are very, very similar, but not quite the same. Remember that toujours pas has slightly more negative connotations. Then we have non plus, which means neither. Take, for example, moi non plus, that means me neither. Or je n'y vais pas non plus, I'm not going either. And slightly more complex one, il ne nous a pas non plus envoyé la facture, he hasn't sent us the bill either. With this one you could put non plus at the end, you could say il ne nous a pas envoyé la facture non plus, but it's just a little bit more natural to put it after the pas. And then finally we have ni rien, which I could have put in the combining negatives video, but the thing with this one is it's not used grammatically in the same way as a negative, right? To me it feels more like an expression. So for example you could say je n'ai pas d'argent ni rien. I don't have any money or anything. Or il m'a pas appelé ni rien. He hasn't called me or anything. So really it is very much the same as that or anything in English and can be used in the same way. So there we go, just a few negative expressions in French. Of course, there are many more that I could have gone through, but there's no need in just going through a massive list. I just thought these were some of the most useful ones. Of course, if you have any suggestions, do put them in the comments, and as always, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask those either. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, à bientôt!